I was making breakfast when Natalie burst through the front door, practically glowing with excitement. Her arms were full of shopping bags, and she was wearing a new sundress that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. "Good morning, Mom," she called out cheerfully. "Beautiful day, isn't it?" My son Ryan looked up from his coffee. "You're in a good mood. What's the occasion?" "Oh, just excited about our vacation next week," Natalie said, setting down her bags. "I picked up some new clothes for the trip. Beachwear, sundresses, that cute swimsuit I showed you online." I continued scrambling eggs, listening to their conversation. For the past 3 months, they'd been talking about this vacation to Mexico, a week at some luxury resort that cost more than I'd spent on vacations in my entire life. "How much did all this cost?" Ryan asked, peering into the bags. "Don't worry about it," Natalie said with a wave of her hand. "I took care of everything. The vacation, the clothes, the spending money. We all set." I paused in my cooking. Ryan worked as a junior manager at a local warehouse, making maybe $45,000 a year. Natalie worked part-time at a boutique for barely above minimum wage. A luxury Mexican vacation wasn't exactly in their budget, especially since they'd been asking me for small loans every month for the past year. "Nat, where did you get the money?" Ryan pressed. "Last week you said we couldn't afford to fix the washing machine." Natalie glanced at me, then back at Ryan. "I solved our money problems," she said proudly. "I took initiative instead of waiting around for someone else to fix things." "What do you mean?" "I mean I finally dealt with that old car taking up space in our driveway," Natalie announced. "Sold it yesterday. Got $8,500 for it, which is exactly what we needed for the vacation and new clothes." I stopped stirring the eggs. "What car?" Natalie turned to me with that bright, fake smile she used when she was about to say something cruel. "Your car, Mom. That ancient Honda that's been sitting there for 2 months since you stopped driving." My mouth went dry. "You sold my car?" "I solved everyone's problems," Natalie said, clearly pleased with herself. "You weren't using it anyway. It was just taking up space and making the driveway look trashy. Now it's gone, we have vacation money, and everyone wins." Ryan looked uncomfortable. "Nat, that wasn't your car to sell." "Ryan, your mother is 75 years old. She gave up her license after that little fender bender. She's never driving again. That car was just going to sit there rotting until someone had to pay to have it towed away." The little fender bender had been my decision to stop driving after I'd scraped a mailbox while backing out of a parking space. My reflexes weren't what they used to be, and I'd voluntarily surrendered my license rather than risk hurting someone. But the car had been my independence, my connection to 20 years of memories with my late husband. "You had no right," I said quietly. "I had every right," Natalie shot back. "We've been supporting you for over a year. Giving you a place to live, buying your groceries, paying for your medications. That car was the least you could contribute to this household." What Natalie didn't know was that the support she was talking about was actually my money. The mortgage payments on their house? I'd been covering them through what they thought were Ryan's overtime bonuses. The grocery money? That came from the investment portfolio I'd been carefully managing since my husband died. Even Natalie's part-time job at the boutique? I owned the building and had quietly arranged for her to be hired. For 18 months. I'd been funding their entire lifestyle while they treated me like a charity case they were grudgingly helping. "Mom, I'm sorry," Ryan said. "We should have asked you first." "Asked her?" Natalie laughed. "Ryan, we're not children asking permission to clean out the garage. That car was dead weight, just like." She caught herself, but not soon enough. "Just like what?" I asked. Natalie's cheeks flushed slightly. "Just like a lot of things we need to clear out to move forward with our lives." That afternoon, while Natalie was at work and Ryan was running errands, I sat in my room looking through the photo albums I'd brought with me when I moved in. Pictures of my husband and me standing next to that Honda the day we bought it. Road trips we'd taken to visit our children. Drives to the hospital during his cancer treatments. The car wasn't just transportation. It was the last tangible connection to the life we'd built together. But Natalie had seen it as dead weight. Just like she saw me. I pulled out my phone and called my financial advisor, Thomas Martinez, who'd been managing my portfolio since my husband's death. "Mrs. Foster?" How can I help you today? Thomas, I need you to execute the contingency plan we discussed 6 months ago. All of it. There was a pause. Are you certain? Once we begin the asset recovery process, there's no going back. I'm certain. How long will it take? 48 hours for the paperwork. 72 hours for full implementation. Do it. That evening, Natalie showed me the photos she'd been posting on social media all day. Pictures of her new clothes laid out on the bed. Screenshots of their resort reservations. A selfie of her holding a margarita with the caption "Pre-vacation celebration." But the one that made my decision final was posted at 6 p.m., a photo of Natalie on the beach during what must have been her lunch break, arms spread wide, with the caption "Finally free from deadweight." Sometimes you have to cut loose the things holding you back. #new chapter #vacation vibes #freedom feels. Ryan saw it too. Nat, what does this mean? Free from deadweight. Oh, just general life philosophy, Natalie said quickly. Getting rid of things that don't serve you anymore. Old cars, old habits, old ways of thinking. But I knew exactly what she meant. And so did she. The next morning, I was sitting in the kitchen when Natalie came downstairs with 2 suitcases, practically bouncing with excitement. Flight leaves at 2 p.m., she announced. I can't wait to feel that Mexican sunshine. It's going to be the perfect week. Ryan followed her down, looking less enthusiastic. I still feel bad about the car thing, Mom. Maybe when we get back, we can help you find another one. That's very kind, I said, but I don't think that will be necessary. Natalie was checking her phone. Oh my God, Ryan, look at this weather forecast. 85 degrees and sunny every single day. This is going to be amazing. She showed me the screen, her beach resort pulled up with photos of white sand and crystal clear water. Isn't this gorgeous, Mom? This is what people our age should be doing instead of sitting around feeling sorry for ourselves. It does look lovely, I agreed. Maybe next time you can come with us, Natalie said with obviously false generosity. You know, if you can find a way to contribute to the cost. My phone buzzed with a text from Thomas. Phase 1 complete. Mortgage company notified. Repo schedule confirmed for 11 a.m. Actually, I said, I have some news to share with you both before you leave. Ryan sat down at the table. What kind of news? I pulled out a folder of documents Thomas had couriered over that morning. Well, first, about the car you sold, Natalie. Natalie waved her hand dismissively. Mom, what's done is done. You need to let go of the past and focus on the future. Oh, I am focused on the future, I said. Which is why I thought you should know that the car you sold for $8,500 was actually worth about $35,000. Ryan nearly choked on his coffee. What? It was a 1995 Honda Civic with only 47,000 original miles, I explained. Mint condition, all maintenance records, garage kept its entire life. Classic car collectors pay premium prices for vehicles like that. Natalie's face went pale. That's impossible. It was just an old Honda. A classic Honda, I corrected. I had it appraised last year for insurance purposes. The documentation is all here. I slid the appraisal across the table. Ryan read it aloud. 1995 Honda Civic DX Coupe. Exceptional condition. Estimated market value $32,000 to $38,000. But the guy who bought it, Natalie stammered, he only paid $8,500. Because you didn't know what you were selling, I said. You saw an old car and assumed it was worthless. Just like you assume a lot of things are worthless. At exactly 11 a.m., there was a knock on the front door. 3 men in uniforms stood on the porch with official-looking paperwork. We're here for the vehicle repossession, the lead man said. 2019 Jeep Cherokee and 2020 Ford Mustang. Ryan stood up so fast his chair fell over. Repossession? There has to be a mistake. Our payments are current. Actually, I said quietly, your payments stopped being current yesterday when the loan company was notified that the primary account holder was withdrawing financial support. Natalie was staring at me like I'd grown a second head. What are you talking about? I pulled out another document. For the past 18 months, I've been making your car payments through automatic transfers from my investment account. Yesterday, I cancelled those transfers. That's impossible, Natalie said. Our car payments come out of Ryan's checking account. Your car payments come out of Ryan's checking account, I agreed, which receives monthly deposits from my investment portfolio to cover them. Deposits that stopped yesterday. Ryan was frantically pulling up his banking app on his phone. Mom, I don't understand. How have you been making our car payments? The same way I've been making your mortgage payments, paying for your groceries, and covering your credit card bills, I said. I've been supporting your entire lifestyle while you treated me like a burden you were reluctantly helping. The repo men were attaching chains to Natalie's Mustang when she finally found her voice. Stop, she screamed, running outside. You can't take our cars. We have payments. We have a contract. Your account is in default, the lead man said patiently. The primary payment source has been discontinued. You have 10 days to bring the loans current or the vehicles will be sold at auction. Ryan was staring at his phone screen. Mom, according to this, we owe $47,000 on the cars. $47,312, I said precisely. Plus the $38,000 remaining on your mortgage, the $12,000 in credit card debt I've been covering, and approximately $800 per month in living expenses. Natalie was crying as they loaded her car onto the truck. This can't be happening. We're supposed to leave for Mexico in 3 hours. About that, I said, pulling out my phone. I also called the resort this morning and cancelled your reservation. Since the credit card you used to book it was connected to my investment account, I was able to cancel and receive a full refund. You cancelled our vacation. Ryan's voice cracked. I cancelled the vacation I was paying for, I corrected. The $4,200 resort package, the $1,800 in flights, the $2,000 spending money you thought was coming from selling my car. All of it was actually coming from my accounts. I stood up and gathered my documents. Here's the situation. You owe approximately $98,000 in loans and debts that I've been covering. You have no cars, no vacation, and as of tomorrow morning, no mortgage payment ability. Natalie dropped to her knees on the driveway. Please, Mrs. Foster. Please don't do this to us. I'm sorry about the car. I'm sorry about everything. We'll pay you back. Pay me back with what money? I asked. Your combined annual income is about $62,000. Your monthly expenses are $4,800. You've been spending $1,200 more per month than you make for over a year. Ryan was doing math in his head. We'll lose the house. Probably, I agreed. Unless you can qualify for a mortgage on your actual income, which seems unlikely given your credit utilization and debt-to-income ratio. I walked to the taxi that was waiting in the driveway, the one I'd called to take me to my new apartment downtown. Where are you going? Ryan called after me. I'm moving to a lovely 2-bedroom downtown, I said. Walking distance to restaurants, shops, and the community center. It has a view of the river and costs exactly what I can afford on my actual Social Security and pension income. But what about us? Natalie sobbed. You'll figure it out, I said. After all, according to your social media post, you're finally free from deadweight. Now you can see what that freedom actually costs. As the taxi pulled away, I could see them standing in the driveway where their cars used to be, holding suitcases for a vacation that would never happen, finally understanding that the deadweight they'd been so eager to get rid of was actually the foundation holding up their entire world. The $8,500 from my car sale would barely cover their living expenses for 2 months. And after that? They'd learn what it really meant to be responsible for themselves. Sometimes the most expensive lessons are the ones people refuse to learn any other way. And sometimes, the deadweight you throw away turns out to be your life preserver. My phone buzzed with a text from Ryan. Mom, please come back. We can work this out. I replied, you worked it out perfectly yesterday. Enjoy your freedom. Through the taxi window, I watched the repo truck disappear around the corner, taking with it the last remnants of their borrowed lifestyle. Tomorrow, they'd wake up to discover exactly how much that freedom was going to cost them.